Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm here with Aleksandra Kornecka, who is an experienced security engineer, and we are talking about creating a security-aware culture and why that's so important in companies. Alexandra, welcome. And could you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into security engineering, and what is security engineering?
Sure. First of all, well, thank you very much for having me. That's really cool just to jump here and talk a little bit. So about myself, I'm like 10 years already in IT, but I started as a quality assurance engineer and software tester. And then somehow magically I got interest in cybersecurity. So first, I started cooperating with security team within the organization where I was an engineer, and I started having more hands-on exercises with them, like to help them regarding security features within the software product. And then I tried my force in internal recruitment. So that was the job of security engineer, the junior one within the company. I learned hard a few like days or even weeks. I had this background already, and then I passed it, and so started my let's say cross skilling and new career shift to cybersecurity. So it's like 3 years now within security. I still enjoy it, and yes, I use my, let's say, general IT knowledge, and I'm building the cybersecurity on top of that.
Okay, thank you very much. And these words like privacy and cybersecurity, they're used together and sometimes interchangeably. So, what is the relationship between privacy and cybersecurity?
Sure. So I think I should firstly tell a little bit about security engineering itself and then compare somehow. So, well, like security engineering is all about IT systems and what's inside to prevent attacks, to fix the vulnerabilities on time. So before being exploited by some hostile people around the world. And generally, it's like, to put it in not IT slang, security meaning the ways how to prevent others from looking into our stuff when we don't want them to do that. And there we have like lots of tools, of lots of ways, frameworks, standards to do that. And yeah, there's also various areas of security that can be like security operations, the people who are monitoring security findings, looking for them actively. There is offensive security, or other name like red teaming. So that is like ethical attackers who try to exploit the things before some people from outside will exploit it. And there is a defensive security, or blue teaming, where it's about monitoring, about preventive measures, so as we know how to build the things so as they will not be breaked so easily. Uh, there's security awareness topic, of course, so about the trainings and how to help others to know something about security, and security infrastructure, so cloud security or data center security, network security, and actually you name it, like each layer in IT, let's say, have some security inside to build and to acknowledge. And how about privacy in it? So there is such a like CIA triad about security engineering itself. It's about confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the systems and data. So privacy is more about this data inside the system. So privacy is more about being compliant, about obeying some rules to keep the sensitive data secure. And security engineering is more about how to build these things so as the data are secure. So let's say they're interacting each other quite closely. the terms are sometimes very close, but it means different perspective, let's say. So you can have data security to keep them private, and you have general security engineering, how to build all the system to put securely the data inside so as they keep being private, so not public over the internet, for example.
Thank you. And what could a company do now to become more security aware? You and I have talked a lot about the fact that the world's getting more dangerous, things are getting more digital, more endpoints. But what can a company do who's been, for example, very ad hoc or very into quick delivery? What could they do to actually build a culture where they care about security?
That's a very good question and very up to date. So, of course, that depends on the people you have on board and let's say priorities of the company. Probably when you have like finances connected company, or you're delivering products for banks and financial institutions, that probably you should care even more about the security than the usual baseline. Probably you have more budget for that as well. And then, yeah, anyway, if you have this budget or not, the most important thing is kind of prioritization from the leaders, either the management or just leadership. So if it's like the buy-in from top down, then there is probably time and budget for this for the usual employees, and then it all comes easier. Of course, that's also kind of be the matter of hiring proper persons. How in the market, it's maybe not very much common, but still you can find software engineers who has some security mindset, or their job is just crafting with not only just writing proper code or the quality code, but also putting some security controls, having already this security awareness in them. But if not, still it's doable. You just need some time, budget, or just time, and focus on the security. The best thing would be if you have the leadership buy-in and it's somehow cascaded to team goals, for example, or to have the security person or security team who can help the other employees to build the security in their workflows. So there is such a term like security software development lifecycle. That means you have some security controls over your development process. So, for example, when designing some architecture or thinking about a new feature, that you have always the bullet points about security. And sometimes you have a tooling for that, like special security check in static code analysis. Sometimes it's just during the code review, you can put some notes about security, but generally it's, yeah, that can be fit to the particular organization setup, but everywhere is some solution, I think.
And what about zero trust? Because that is such a huge concept in cybersecurity these days. And I know how many, at least data teams and organizations work, very ad hoc, always delivering type of environments, and other teams as well, marketing, product, elsewhere. How do you think that these organizations could bring zero trust into the way they do work?
That's a very challenging thing, but I think in the end very worthy if you really want to keep secure. So, well, the real zero trust is really, really hard to achieve because it's really being very compliant to the rules you stick, having very, how to say, coherent systems, not leaking the data or not being open to the public where they should not be. Um, it's very mature organization that can have the real zero trust. To be honest, I'm still observing more like efforts to go there, but I haven't yet seen like the full implementation. Of course, there are some points to start with, like having the not so dependent authorization, like you don't have this email and password, right? You have the LDAP and SSO, these kinds of authorization mechanisms, and that you don't have custom logging methods or shared passwords, like for the good start. And apart from that, it's also about configuration of the systems and infrastructure, that you know what you own, what is under your power, and you know the potential gaps there, or that you have really it configured correctly. So I think the bigger organization it is, the more attention that should put to security, and maybe invest a bit too if you have some enterprise systems, to just make it right, to configure it right. So yeah, once again, it's doable, but can be very time consuming and resources consuming. But in the end, very worth it if you want to really be ready for this current world, let's say, challenges in security.
So what's the first thing somebody could do? I always say 10 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. How do you get started if you're working in more of an ad hoc type organization?
That's also a very good question and kind of challenging, because it depends on the context of your company or organization. But of course, you can just take your coffee morning and start doing things. And maybe to pick just very specific idea, like if you are a software engineer and you have some pipeline of deploying the software, you can put additional check, like uh, if the code has some dependencies that are vulnerable. There are specific tooling for that, static analysis code tool. To name some examples, like SonarQube, checkmarks, Aqua Security, others. It's not the advertisement, right? It's just an examples to know what I'm mean. And you can try with one repository or in test environment how it runs, what the results it brings to you, and then you can think how to scale up this solution, or if it matters for your project, for your features. um, that's why, like one thing. The other thing is just self-education. Like we have this OWASP top 10 inevitable standard for security. So for what, for web software, it's still vivid, still up to date. So you can just go through it, see what is relevant for your software, for your day-to-day work, and maybe implement some control security controls mentioned there, or just to have a small meeting with others and to discuss about these things. So I think that on each level, in each department, you can have your small part about security, but of course, that's all about the time and priorities. Like you just need to have at least few minutes to focus on that, and it's good if you have some guidance, or at least your manager approval to take care and time for that. But without approval, you still can do really nice things, and maybe then present them somewhere to raise it even more.
Okay, thank you. And what are some of the secrets to your success?
Thank you, first of all, for perceiving me as successful. So that's maybe that seems trivial, but I would say it's like the bounded thing of the time I put and efforts I put there to learn, to experience, to do the things myself. But also, even more important, to have the proper people around me. So either like the support from my closest family and partner, or just at work, like being having the time and support from the leader or the colleagues at work, and also going out to other professionals to learn together. So that's really like the few elements, but the important ones is just you need to learn, be patient to go to some point you want to, and to have proper people around you.
Thank you. Yes, the proper people around you could be very important, along with everything else you said. So, how can people get in contact with you?
That would be the easiest way, probably via LinkedIn. I'm also in some social media, but apart from that, I can share my email address just to put it traditional way. So yeah, I'm really eager to talk about these things, and yeah, also would be nice to have some discussion on the topics we met because it's I think cybersecurity is everyone's thing now, and when we cooperate, we can go farther together.
Yes. Thank you very much.